Evening, everybody. How we doing? How we doing? So today was a crazy day for me, and not in a good way. um, I went back to old mistakes that have um, kind of not helped me in the past, and yeah, it was just like to give you a little context. In the past, I have traded with other people on a Discord call, and in the beginning when I first started doing that, it was great, mostly because one of the one of the people involved in that call was very, how do I call it, like, he was very active in the call. Like that dude and myself, we were the most active in the call. The other, like, two other guys were like kind of like bystanders in a way. They didn't really say much. And this one dude and myself, we had very similar trading styles. Like, we pretty much saw the exact same thing, trading ICT and stuff like that. And then eventually, the other two people and then another guy, so like three other guys, ended up like they started to, excuse me, they started to contribute more to the conversation, to like the exchange of ideas, and they started developing a bit of a different trading style, like using chart patterns and stuff like that. I'm like, it got to the point where I was hearing so many opinions all at once that it stopped being something good for me, and I could tell, like, I ended up realizing, like, okay, this has not been good for my trading. um so I kind of stopped joining the calls and kind of focused on myself, right? Then I went on with my life, continued trading, blah blah blah. And then the 3 weeks that I had of good consistency, I think is when I started this YouTube channel. The first 3 weeks were like so solid. Um, I was trading by myself, no calls, no nothing, just focusing on my skill, and it paid really well. I mean, it showed results, and then obviously I ended up tilting in a single day and blew the results in one day. But anyways, I talked to a fellow mentee. So this one dude that's from the same country that I am, and we had the same mentor. And this dude has been getting payouts. He's been doing really good. He actually had like a 25K month this past October. Yeah, on October he had a 25K month. So it's insane. He's like funded in like just by account size, not really drawdown, but like by account size, it's like 450K in funded accounts. Obviously, like if you count the drawdown, it's way less than that, but pretty freaking solid, right? Because it's the equivalent of 9 50K accounts. Maybe it's like out of those nine, let's say two of those, or maybe like four of those are 100Ks, or maybe three, right? So like funded pretty well, and he's been doing pretty well. So I like to listen to his advice. The fact that we come from the same place, had the same mentor, it was pretty nice. And he has his own Discord, and I started joining in on the calls, because they do like they join a Discord call, and every now and then one of the guys will stream their screen, and I was just sitting there, and it was nice at first, but today, and I'm glad I caught this early on. I'll let myself get influenced by other people's opinions, and I'll pinpoint exactly where that happened. All right, so that's pretty much the context. And one of the trades that I took was influenced by other people's opinions. I actually have it written down here. I took a total of 4 trades. Should have been three. Actually, it should have been two. It should have been two. It should have been a loser and a winner. Did not end up happening. All right. So, 4 trades. First one, it was okay. It was okay. So the first one was really based on a pre-market low volume node, which is this right here. A lot of heavy buy volume. We had VWAP, right? So low volume over here, right? And 820 VWAP. It looked good, okay? We actually ended up getting a retest. This ended up getting stopped out, which I'm okay with. But this is what the retest looked like in the beginning. We retested the low volume node and the VWAP, the 820 VWAP, and saw it as failed selling, pushed higher. My entry should have been closer to this. I hesitated a bit, so I had a late entry. Right? And this was like right at market open. If you see the time, that's like 9:30. It was within the first 5 minutes. Like the first 5 minute candle didn't even close, and I was already in the trade. But my entry was, I'll go ahead and find it really quick for you. It was 736.50. Stop at 684. So my entry was, what was it? I forgot. 736.50. 736.50. So 736.50. I think I had my stop like down here. Yeah. Now start getting. I want to say true day open. I want to say I was targeting true day open. I can't quite remember. Maybe I wasn't. Yeah, I didn't even had a chance to set a target, but my entry was in the formation of. We can go within 1 minute to see it play out, but initially it looked good. Let me see. Like we see rejection here. I was in the green for a bit, but ended up getting stopped out within the first 5 minute candle before it even closed. And not gonna lie, it was just a poor entry and kind of just too early in the session. Like if you look at the numbers, say like 7:15 was my entry, right? Let's say 7:15 was my entry. That's probably closer to like here. Yeah. If my entry was like all the way down here, that would have been better. Stop all the way down here. Maybe go break even once we hit this. Like at a certain point, I would have been up, say, 40 points in profit. So, like for scalping, it's good, but it's also like right at market open. This trade was fine, right? We were coming off of the NWOG, right? The new week opening gap. I saw London low was technically this down here, but I like the 5 a.m. close of London was already swept. And yeah, I should have noticed that we had relative equal lows here. Like there's no excuse there. Should have just noticed that. And yeah, ended up getting set up, and I was cool with it, right? I tried. I gave it a try. Gave it a shot. Didn't work out. The problem starts here. Seeing this bearish momentum, the people on the call were like, oh, shorts look good towards London lows. And I figured, yeah, why not? We were below New York VWAP and below the 820 VWAP. But then again, does it really matter to me personally? It shouldn't, right? It shouldn't matter to me because the way they trade is not the same way that I trade. You know what I mean? Like this was technically, it's also a 50-minute. So we have a 50-minute intermediate low plus relative equal lows. Pretty good draw on liquidity. You could wait for this sweep, the sweep of this low, but once we hit this, you're on your feet to see if you can catch something, right? And this was like pretty much the low of the day. Like, per my strategy, this was the ideal entry. Even looking at like a volume profile, I'm pretty sure we're the value area low, or below it at least. come on, bro. Like, this was the trade to take. Value area low, VWAP band. 50-minute intermediate low with relative equal lows. Start of the end walk, retesting it. Um, Retesting the actual new week opening gap itself. You're like, okay, let's wait for a bullish candle close. Sure, maybe you want to wait for that. Maybe you get a better entry, whatever. Maybe you put your stop here. Maybe you're not convinced by this. Maybe you want to see something a bit clear. I remember seeing on Bookmap. I can probably try to get it up and running to show you. Um, yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna try to get it up and running here in a second. It'll take a sec. So here's Bookmap, and we can go into loading events. Loading events. Cool. Alright, so we can probably speed this up a bit. Yeah. So this was the I was actually looking at the light one. So this was the first trade, right? Failed selling here. I believe this was it, or maybe it was this. No, it was this one. It was this right here. The failed selling here. That was the first attempt. I believe even the second one. I think the second one was actually the one that. No, this was where we get stopped out. But yeah, after we see us fail at the VWAPs, that's your sign to close it. I decided to stay in. But yeah, we can speed up a bit more. Seeing around here, yeah. So okay, let me see for 5-minute candles. If we do it like this, that way the time slices are actually 5-minute candles. Here you see some buying. Okay, maybe you see this as a zone that we can retest, right? Like, are we retesting it? Yep, we did right there. All right. So you're like, okay, let's wait for like a reaction, right? So this takes a while. Cool. So we actually break out here. Cool. Alright, are we going to retest this? We're failing at the view up there one more time. Cool. Let's see what happens here, right? So we have an area of that we break through. Okay, let's see if we see some failed buying here, failed selling. Alright. Similar selling efforts here. Still unable to break that low. Retesting that, maybe this is our entry at the 680s, right? Maybe you could put your entry right there. Maybe you want to wait for the 5-minute candle to close and then have it get retested. That's also fine. We're going to go ahead and speed this up a bit. Alright, new 5-minute candle. Let's see what happens here. Cool. We retested it again and failed. Maybe our entries, let's be generous and say 690. Maybe even the 700s. 700s, right? Once we see these buyers step in, want to see us break through the VWAP, right? That's a good entry point, in my opinion, right? So this is in the formation of the next candle. So let's say 700 is our entry. 700 flat, stop at the low, and we're targeting, say, London high, right? And that next draw on liquidity. Maybe even you want to just be aggressive with have an aggressive TP. So you know your entry is going to be in the formation of the next candle, and this candle just printed. You could go break even here, and this ends up playing out perfectly. Like, it lasted what, 15 minutes? 1, 2, 3, 5-minute candles, so 15 minutes. It would have lasted nothing. That was the ideal trade. That's the trade that I should have taken. My dumbass decided to short this rejection here because we're rejecting VWAP, which we did. You saw on Bookmap. That's what we did. If we go back to Bookmap here, we rejected VWAP here, rejected it and retested it. So technically, it's a good entry, but we broke through VWAP, retested it, failed, and that's where I entered shorts. And yeah, I should have just noticed we had an area of failed selling down here, and buyers actually showing up down here, which we retested once, twice. So this would have been your ideal entry at 684. Um, if you zoom in, right, and kind of see what happened, I'm like, okay, we're getting a lot of selling, not that much effort, more selling still, like making higher lows, and the CBD's like around the same level. Um, Here, we actually put in a higher low, both on the CBD and price. Maybe that's your entry signal at 684. And yeah, we would have bottom ticked this move. But it is what it is. It's not what I did, right? And I decided, despite the fact that we already hit three targets, so the 4-hour FEG, London High, and then these 15-minute gaps that we had marked out, and the resistance zone. And on top of that, from the low to the high, we already made a 222-point move. My dumbass decided it was a good idea to try longs if we got a retrace, and that's what I did. Took a freaking long, which I'm not mad about, honestly. I felt like it was a good attempt, but this was my entry. As you can see, I ended up getting stopped out. 857.50 was my entry, and 825.50 was my stop. So I had my stop at the wick, a little below the wick, and then I had my entry at. Oh, that's not it. I can close that really quick. Boop, boop. There we go. 857.50, right? So 857.50, and I feel like I let myself be influenced by FOMO. It looked like we wanted to take Asia highs, so that's what I was targeting, and it was looking good, right? We got a good reaction. We set our initial balance, our 45-minute IB, right? So I think this actually did end up getting broken. Yeah, it broke the 45-minute IB, but we wicked it. And then the 1-hour IB ended up getting set right there, so that's our 1-hour IB. I was looking at my targets, right? So your initial balance, and you could extend it all the way to here. There we go. Cool. So that's what I was looking at, and yeah, I was starting pretty much the 0.6. I figured we had good momentum, right? We traded from the new week opening gap, and I just didn't accept the fact that we were inside a 4-hour fair value gap and we could reject here. And that's what ended up happening. We actually dumped after this. But I decided to stay in the trade. Looking at Bookmap, we had good buying volume come in, and then ended up getting stopped out eventually. But yeah, it is what it is, right? I don't think I should have taken this trade. Not really, because it's not a deep retrace. You know what I mean? Like, the only confluence I had was the low volume node. And if you remember, the journal review I did is my best trades come when I have multiple confluences in alignment. If it's an initiation move, it's harder to catch it, which was an example down here. Like this down here, that's the initiation move, and what I mean by that is basically the start of the impulsive move. It's harder to catch, but if you can catch it, you'll catch a massive move. And I've pulled it off like once or twice in the past month or so. So yeah, and I should have been able to catch it today if I was just patient enough and trusted my own analysis. But yeah, I feel like taking the short here kind of prevented me from seeing the possibility of taking a long. And yeah, like, not gonna lie, it's a good idea to target London low, but when you're at this level, you don't want to short. Like, you don't want to short into a support level. You don't want to long into a resistance level. And that's exactly what it did today, if you think about it, right? I shorted into the support level with just the NWOG, and I longed into this resistance, expecting it to break. But yeah, I mean, this trade was decent, but because of the context and the location, not really. Like, good confirmation, good confluences, but we've already moved up 200 points. We're inside the resistance area. Sure, you set the IB high second, but trade the retrace. We've already moved up 200 points. You know what I mean? We hit draws on liquidity. Like, we have true day open, sure, but kind of have to pick your battles. You know what I mean? I feel like it makes sense to target true day open if you were able to get in somewhere down here, but up here, not really, because you're longing at the resistance level. So it is what it is. And I mentioned FOMO in this trade because um, I knew two of the people in the call had gotten in longs. And like, the one that got into the highest was like at the 70s, so like somewhere up here, right? When this candle closed, you're chilling. Like, if you got up here, got in here, stop at the wick, I mean, you could have closed, right? You know what I mean? You could have closed there. 2R, 40 points up, 2.5R. Caught 100 points. You're chilling. You're good. But me, I didn't catch that. You know what I mean? And I know another guy was in at like the 760, so even like lower, like down here. And yeah, same thing for him. He was already break even. So like, for me, I was the only dumbass that was in all the way up here. Like, the location was not there. The context was not there. And it is a bit of hindsight, but. And then another thing is, I tried a long when we actually retraced these VWAPs. I don't think I got a screenshot of what I saw. Maybe I did. Oh, I did, actually. Yeah, right here. Low volume node, failed selling, retest that, and we had aggressive selling here, so I wanted us to break through this, so I had a late entry. My entry was, you can see, was, or was this the last one? This was around, oh yeah, this was the last one, actually. This was the one I mentioned up here. So that's what I saw. And the only reason it took me a while to enter was because of that. But my entry should have been, once again, closer to this, like maybe at the 35s, right? Like, something like this. 32 point stop. Let's see what the high looked like. 1R. Like, if you targeted this internal high, expecting the IB to break 1.58R, 50 points. I don't know what to tell you. Like, the trade location was. The trade is not as good. I'll admit that. It wasn't as good. The fact that I tried taking a short down here, it doesn't make sense. Like, in hindsight, it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? I need to stop letting other people's opinion dictate my analysis or my decision making. You know what I mean? I've experienced that in the past for an extended period of time, and I experienced it today for a single trading day, and it was enough to make me realize this is happening again. I know where this path leads, and it's not any good. It's not any good. So yeah, I reminded myself of that. Wrote it in all caps on my journal. That's what I'm reading over here. Kind of calling myself out. Feel free to call me out for this bullshit and the fact that I tried to long. I removed my personal daily loss limit on the top sub account and extended it, and ended up pretty much full pouring the account. Nearly lost it. I entered somewhere on here. Can't remember. I think my stop was like somewhere over here. Target and true date. I was going for like a 1 to 2, and that also ended up getting ran through. I mean, it looked good for a little bit, and then ended up getting subbed out. And I actually ended up hitting my extended DLL, and now this is what we're dealing with. It hurts to look at. It freaking hurts to look at. Like, I can't remember the last time I lost this much. Well, technically, the one day that I tilted, I lost more than this in a single day on a 50k. This was a 100k account, so technically the risk is double. So it would be the equivalent of losing 1,000 in a 50k. But this should not have happened. What do I have now? $164 left to draw down. I'm very tempted to just reset this account because the way I trade is a trade idea can work on the second attempt. Like if I'm trading off of a key level, it fails once, or maybe like I got a poor stop loss placement or something, and then the second attempt works, I should be able to take that. 160 is, in my opinion, is not enough to take 2 trades. So yeah, very tempted to do this because I feel like I put myself in this situation and I should dig myself out. But then again, it's like the mental toll of having to deal with this. It's like it's mind-boggling, and I'm not entirely sure if I should reset it or not. Plus the like the cost of it, the monetary cost of it, is also like very. The thinking of it is mentally draining, mentally exhausting. So, yeah, I mean, it's rough. It's rough. I'm not gonna lie. And what I'm thinking about doing is not joining the calls, obviously, but I feel like I'm gonna start recording myself while I'm trading and upload that. I can just speed up the process, and like whenever I'm taking a trade, I'll be like, I'll do my pre-market analysis, right? And whenever I'm taking a trade, I'll I'll like, so I'll speed it up to where I'm taking a trade, and then I'll be like, okay, I'm taking a trade off of this. I saw this, this, and that. So like, I'll break down my trade in the moment to kind of hold myself accountable. Like, I should be able to explain it. You know what I mean? I should be able to say like, oh, say the context of this is like, let's say I broke down this trade down here. Okay, so previous stage range side is neutral, true day open is above us, pretty good stance that we trade towards that since it's wasn't traded through in London. We also have quite a few draws on liquidity up here that I'll want to see taken. It also looked like we have some overnight short inventory, right? And I could see a trade back towards this. We're at the value area low, below the value area low. If we don't displace here, we're going to just revert back to POC, value area high, stuff like that. And yeah, like I had a lot of context, and then we're trading from this 50-minute intermediate low, relative equal lows. So we're sweeping those. We're also inside the new week opening gap. Great opportunity for longs. If we break view up, I'm definitely going to hold this. If we break downwards, I'm just going to get stopped down, and that's fine. Like, kind of try to break it down as clearly as I can, and just add the recap at the end. So I shouldn't be over trading, right? Because nobody wants to see that. And having a camera on me, watching me, knowing that I'm gonna have to upload the video, I feel like that's also gonna help me hold myself accountable, and it's gonna make sure it's my analysis, my entries, my executions, right? So it adds a lot of accountability packed in one, like all in one thing. I feel like it can be very beneficial. I'll try it out, and we'll play by ear. I feel like it can be very beneficial. Because then again, I'd just be focusing on my skill, my analysis, my execution, and yeah, that's kind of my thought process now. Nearly blew this eval. Gonna meditate a little bit on whether or not I should reset it, and yeah, Like it's very it sounds amazing. Like the idea of resetting the account sounds great. Not only because it gets rid of the mental toll of having to recover the account from with $100 in drawdown, but also the idea of trying out the recording myself and just be by myself, and try that out with a fresh account. You know what I mean? Like starting to do that with like I guess not a fresh account might be pretty exhausting. So I don't know. I'll talk to a friend about it. We'll see what they think, and yeah. Anyways, that pretty much wraps up the shit show of a trade recap that was today. Yeah, we learned our lesson. Stop letting other people's opinions dictate your analysis, your decision making. Whenever you're trading, you're on your own. Because what if you're dependent on someone else? And what if they end up, you know what? They end up saying, like, you know what, I've made enough money, I'm going to retire, I'm done with trading. Um, what are you going to do then? You know what I mean? So, yeah. This is. It all comes down to you. Your decision making, your personality, the way you deal with your problems. Yeah. That pretty much wraps it up, guys. So hopefully I'll catch y'all tomorrow with a banger day. Alright, y'all. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.